people. They're never going to go back home. So they want to help them as much so that they're never just walking out of here and feeling like they're going back onto the street. They've worked with them throughout the process here to help them adjust to this new world order that they're going to be living in after this.
The long-running animated sitcom, The Simpsons, has become known for their ability to depict certain events before they even happen. 9/11, the presidency of Donald Trump, amongst so many other examples. The writer's methods and intentions are another topic, but the Business Insider International gave some legitimacy to researchers and theorists online after posting this article. 11 times The Simpsons accurately predicted the future. CNN, New York Times, The Sun, NBC, the list gets longer every month. And knowing that these companies serve the will of the globalist elite, and that these channels are now openly promoting the idea that The Simpsons are able to predict the future, the implications are concerning. More and more people accept and believe that The Simpsons are eerily accurate when it comes to foreshadowing future events. And if you're one of them, or if you adhere to any one of these mainstream platforms, you better pay very close attention. Because The Simpsons released their own take of what life will be like when FEMA becomes empowered by the Department of Homeland Security.
Lord, give us the courage to worship the American flag, be it on a car, a belt buckle, or on your holy person.
I'd like to say something about the current climate of repression and fear.
Oh, put a fork in it.
Sit down, Saddam.
Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm sure your opinion will not go unnoticed.
Simpsons, you're under arrest for the violation of the Government Knows Best Act.
Martha, play something to lighten the mood.
I eat some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care. Ah!
I can't believe they put us in jail.
It's not a jail. It's a re-education center.
Well, where do you think we are? Well, let's see. After they blindfolded us, it was left, right, left, then a 3-hour plane ride.
My only crime was driving a truck full of explosives in from Canada.
I don't know why they put the real ones in with the joke ones.
Hello, I'm the U.S. Constitution, and I'm over 200 years old, but I'm feeling fine. I wish I could say the same for my crazy cousin, Bill O'Reilly.
What do I do? What do I do?
Lisa, that's not funny. You believe in the Bill of Rights.
I don't know whether it's the lack of sleep, the sodium pentothal, or that it's the only cartoon I've seen in 2 months. But this is what I believe in now.
Convergence of globalization and technology has created a new brand of terrorism. There were persons who, for whatever reason, came to view their home country as the enemy.
Disturbing news tonight about homegrown terror.
Right now, it looks like there is no connection between the men arrested and any known terrorist cell.
Homegrown.
Yeah, homegrown, I should say.
We've got a very serious situation here. I'm holding what is called the right-wing extremism, current economic and political climate, fueling resurgence and radicalization and recruitment. And in it, we talked about the fact that they define pro-lifers as domestic terrorists. They put this in a Department of Homeland Homeland Security document, this official assessment, now saying pro-lifers, people that believe in end-time prophecies, people that are opposed to the administration's position on immigration, those of us that are standing up for the sanctity of life and for the sanctity of marriage, all of those are now potential, and this is what they're saying, domestic terrorists.
You traitors, pipe down. You're all here because you hate freedom.
Do you get time off for snitching on your cellmates?
You were right, homie. We shouldn't have rocked the boat. Then none of this would have ever happened.
Well, we're not the only ones to be unjustly imprisoned.
That looks and sounds a lot like the Soviet re-education camps of old. Soviet re-education camps can be translated to death camps. We should definitely mind our history. What you just watched certainly weighs a lot with theorists and investigative researchers alike, but we understand for some, it's tough to accept such an evil totalitarian image of the future, especially from an animated cartoon series. But the truth, re-education camps are real, and they are already open to the public.
Okay, check this out, guys. Here we are at the FEMA re-education camp at Camp Atterbury, Indiana. It's about 50 miles south of Indianapolis. It's an active military base. I'm here on a World War II reenactment. We have clearance to be on the base for the battle and to portray the war we're doing. So happened that our camps and everything else that we're set up in aren't too far from these trailers. But I figured I'd give you all a glimpse of what a FEMA re-education camp really looks like. Now tell me why you have a bunch of FEMA trailers surrounded by concrete barriers and chain link fence. And not only that, you have guard towers at each and every end. And more trailers on the other side that have not been set up yet. Here is another one. And another one, and dechem stations to mop out.
I'm here to talk to you about these FEMA camps. I'm very disturbed about them. Why would we be building these things all over the country? For what purpose?
Well, we wouldn't, because they don't exist. It's just a figment of some people who have concerns about maybe Martians or other creatures coming to infiltrate our society, thinking that there are such camps. But
so
there are no such camps.
There are no such. So why was it put into that bill? It's in a bill. So it's put into the bill. It doesn't exist. There are no FEMA camps anywhere in America.
No, there aren't.
What was the place I saw in Texas?
I don't know what.
It was called a residence. It had two 20-foot high fences around it. When I knocked on the door, it was locked. When the people came to the door, no comment was the answer I got on any question. And what disturbed me the most about this place was in the back, it was like a daycare. There's slides and swings for children. And I said, do you keep children inside this place? No comment. Have you ever kept children in this place? No comment.
I haven't been there, so I have no idea. Maybe
right.
They're immature people.
So you're telling me there isn't one FEMA camp of these in the United States right now?
There are not.
Why is it in that bill?
What is exactly in the bill? And
It
what bill
talks
do you refer
about
to?
building FEMA camps, doesn't it? That particular bill that we're talking about?
I would have to, I'd like to see the bill.
Isn't this guy a co-sponsor of the bill? What's the bill number? 6 FEMA camps to be built within the United States. How can a bill state that there'll be 6 FEMA camps built in the United States, and then I'm being told there are none?
Well, I think I recall now something about this, and if I'm correct, I think those are locations for if there's a disaster like in Katrina. I think that's what it is. It's not any kind of a concentration camp or anything to round up citizens.
He thinks that's what it is? The bill that he co-sponsored says the use of the camps will be determined by the Secretary of Homeland Security. They can come and go as they please.
Exactly.
They won't be locked.
No.
They can go in and out, because the place I saw in Texas is locked. You can't go in and out of it. No comment. And
well, it's not probably not being used either for a couple of years.
Well, we have films of children playing on the swings and the slides and stuff, and this one technically falls under Homeland Security.
Well, I don't know. You know, I haven't been there, and I don't know who the children are, and the children are probably very happy.
Where have we heard that before?
They're probably children of the people that manage the place, I imagine. But they're not people that have been taken there, you know, by some green monsters in a machine. And
I have fear of my government, not green monsters and machines from outer space.
Do you get time off for snitching on your cellmates?
The U.S. government already has programs and organizations set up dedicated to training snitches and good little slaves, not only inside the prisons, but those who will go out to the public and encourage people, especially Christians and Muslims, to walk right into these re-education centers and FEMA prison camps. The Department of Homeland Security has enlisted clergy to quell public unrest if martial law is ever declared. This scenario takes misleading, corrupt, and deceptive scholars and religious leaders to an entirely different level.
Homeland Security enlists clergy to quell public unrest if martial law ever declared. They tried to recruit my dad and every dentist he basically knows to be tattletales. He said against two, and they said, just against, you know, the libertarians, the right-wingers. We just want to, you know, watch your patients for us. And a lot of the dentists were like, what is this, Soviet Union? Secret FEMA plan to use pastors as pacifiers in preparation for martial
law ever become a reality in America? Some fear any nuclear, biological, or chemical attack on U.S. territory might trigger just that. And as KSLA News 12's Jeff Farrell discovered, the clergy would help the government with potentially their biggest problem, us.
From my cold, dead hands.
Charlton Heston's famous declaration captures a truly American value, the overarching desire to protect our freedoms. But gun confiscation is exactly what happened during the state of emergency following Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. U.S. troops also arrived, something far easier to do even now thanks to last year's elimination of the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act. That forbid U.S. troops from policing on American soil. If martial law were enacted here at home, like depicted in the movie The Siege, easing public fears and quelling dissent would be critical. And that's exactly what the Clergy Response Team, as it's called, helped accomplish in New Orleans.
Jeff, the primary thing that we say to anybody is let's cooperate and get this thing over with, and then we'll settle the differences once the crisis is over.
Such clergy response teams would walk a tightrope between the needs of the government versus the wishes of the public.
In a lot of cases, these clergy would already be known in the neighborhoods in which they're helping to defuse that situation.
For the clergy, one of the biggest tools that they will have in helping calm the public down or obey the law is the Bible itself, specifically Romans 13.
Because the government is established by the Lord, you know, and that's what we believe in the Christian faith. That's what's stated in the Scripture.
In the headquarters, Department of the Army Internment and Resettlement Operations, under rehabilitation of U.S. military prisoners and detainees, evaluation, and assessment. It mentions that other worthwhile periods of instruction may include basic computer skills, communication skills, reporting crimes, and suspicious activity reporting. This is a known tactic and compliance technique